Welcome to the UltraCycling magazine show.
Well, hello again. It's Lee Kreider here with UltraCycling magazine, all by myself again. Joanna, it's a bad time for her because she's driving into work Monday morning there in New Zealand, and we don't want her on her phone driving and on the show at the same time. So she's not with us, and Jim's been called into work again. I just don't understand what that's all about. I just figured it up here. I didn't realize this. I've been retired for 28 years. I don't even know what work is anymore, except I'm working harder now at this job than anything I ever had. Well, enough of that. Welcome to all of you. We are here once again with a show about UltraCycling, and we are here because of all the wonderful people who operate the time stations here in Ohio. For the Race Across America, time station 41 in Oxford, 42 in Blanchester, 43 in Chillicothe. And we also want to mention, as always, the sign man, Mike Minium, puts these signs out here in Ohio and Indiana, and you can get one of our time stations during the race, $10. You get a sign, and you help Mike put one out on the road. He loses quite a few of those every year, and they're getting more and more expensive like everything else. So if you can help Mike out, we appreciate it. There's a place on our website, ucm.bike, on the right where you can make a little donation to him. And we want to thank all of you who follow the show and subscribe. We invite you to follow and subscribe as well. And if you're subscribing on YouTube, be sure to ring that bell. And when you do that, that helps it make more. Quit ringing there, guy. Enough's enough. When you do that, you help the show become better known, and it also helps UltraCycling become better known. So it's a great thing when you do that. Anyhow, some reports. Jim isn't here to report on Race Across the East, but there were 31 riders. They were looking for 55. I think that's pretty good for starters. Calvin Challenge is up again at 34, and the Coal Country Roubaix has 74. These are new rides here in this part of the country, and we like to promote them. Next week on the UltraCycling magazine, we're going to go back to the United Kingdom again, and we're going to have Team BH RAAM Maestros on. They're a 4-person team. They are all physicians in the National Health Service, and all come from India, and they're raising funds for Small Steps, a charity there in the United Kingdom. Will be on the same time as we are this week. I believe that covers all of the news that we have. So let's get right on with our guests. And the first person I'm going to bring on, or persons, is going to be, get this out of the way, Brian and Stacy. Now, I
Well,
think it's Edie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Brian and Eddie that you've got here. Stacey is somewhere in your waiting room.
Yeah, she's waiting for us there. We'll get to her. Well, you're a little fuzzy there. I think it's that light behind you.
Okay, let's try and move it around.
Yeah, that's kind of overwhelming your camera, I think, if you can do anything about
Here.
that. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh, that's
That's a little better. I don't know what, it's still behind you.
Right.
Well, while you're working on that, let's get, hi, Claire.
Hi.
Claire O'Kane. She's the crew chief for JSNT Legends. Glad to see you again, Claire.
Yeah, good to see you again too, Lou.
Yeah, great. And let's bring on Stacy.
Hello.
How are you, Stacy?
I'm good, thanks, Lee. And lovely to see everybody.
Yeah, you're a little better there, but I'll tell you what, we're just going to go with that, not fuss around anymore. Edie, so glad to see you.
Thank you. And you.
Now, I have to say, we're particularly glad to see you, Edie, because you gave us all quite a little excitement a few years ago. And we're so happy that you have survived that so well. We will want to see you in, well, not Annapolis. We'll see you in Atlantic City.
Yes, you will.
This year.
I hope. Yeah.
Make it all the way. So glad to have you with us. Introduce or tell me about the rest of your team, Edie.
Right. Well, my partner is right next to me. But so we're cycling as one couple, and then Stacey, you can talk about the other couple.
So
Okay, she threw the ball to you, Stacey.
So I'll be riding with Billy, and there's a lovely story about the riders and the team. Billy's crewed for us for many years, so it's really exciting for him to now be a rider. And it's a shame he's not here today, but you can see his picture on the leaflet, so that was great. So it'll be Billy and Stacey and Eddie and Brian.
Let's bring them up again. I should have had a bigger one of that. So that's the whole crew there.
Yeah,
that is. And poor Claire has got she was demoted from normal crew to crew chief. Poor lady.
Did that come with a raise in pay, Claire?
Oh, I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it? So, but, no, very privileged to have been asked, and yeah, looking forward to seeing getting these guys to that finish.
Well, Claire, while we got you up front here, tell us about your crew.
So we are currently a crew of there's 8 of us now, looking to bring in an extra crew member. We've had some changes in the rider team and the crew team, but so we've got got quite a few people coming to do crew for the first time. So I crewed for the first time last year. When Brian was doing a solo attempt, so I can imagine the nerves and excitement that the crew are feeling. As I think we worked out with just over 8 weeks until the start date.
Oh, Claire!
Sorry, Eddie.
Only 8 weeks.
Really looking forward. Yeah, 8 weeks. No, 2 months minus the day. 2 days.
We start on the 15th. So it's
day,
2 months
one
tomorrow.
Day. Yeah.
I think you're on mute.
Lee, we've lost your audio.
I'm glad it's not just me that's lost Lee's audio. We need sign language, Lee.
Lee, we've lost you.
You lost me, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah,
We
we're
brought you
back.
back now.
Okay, that was my fault. So, Brian, how did this team come about?
What happened was it was supposed to be a 4 ladies team, and obviously Hills, who crashed last time, she's got an enlarged heart, so she wasn't allowed to come on the team because of American sort of trying to get some insurance for her. And then people just sort of fell in and out. And then all of a sudden, I said to Stacey, "Oh, well, if you're short, I'll cover it." And she went, "No, you won't. You're not allowed." And then all of a sudden she went, "Oh, yes, you can." Yeah. So they must have been really desperate if they want me. So it's really exciting to do RAAM again with Stacey and Eddie, funnily enough, because in 2004, Eddie crewed for me when we did our first RAAM. And then in 2008, Stacey and I raced together in RAAM, and Eddie was racing in Golden Girls. So we've done a lot of RAAMs together, including the 2019 one where there was that terrible crash. So it's a long history. So it's 20 years since Eddie and I finished in Atlantic City together.
I have a photograph, I should have put it on here, of the Serpentine Golden Girls, which I took in 2008.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
we finished.
You finished? And that's the first time I ran across you. Oh, gee, that's what, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, time does fly, doesn't it? So, tell me a little bit about your crash and your recovery, Edie.
What do you mean?
Eddie didn't actually crash, it was Hills that crashed. But Eddie looked after Hills all the way through. She spent days and days in hospital, which is why we pulled the team, because we were really worried that Hills may not make it.
They're in Mallorca.
Sorry, we're in quite a busy hall. So the change from 2019 has been that we've made it a mixed team, which is exciting because I've been in 3-4 mixed teams, and we've always won the category. So it will be quite interesting. I mean, we've got a really great age range. So Stacey is the baby of the team at very early 50s. And I've never been a baby of the team, but I'm the next baby of the team, which is great. At 66. And then we've got Billy, who's 71. And then we've got Super Eddie, who's 81. So our average age is 67.
Okay, Jan Janacek is here saying hello from Southern California. Best wishes on an awesome race. And that reminds me to remind you to please post your comments on either Facebook or YouTube, and we can show them here. Help this poor guy out here who's by himself, so I don't have to come up with all the comments and questions. Well, let's get Stacey in here. You're the baby. How did they wrangle you into this, Stacey?
Eddie has this really annoying habit of being really infectious, motivating, and inspiring. So when she said, "Do you want to ride and be part of the crew?" it was very difficult to turn down. And then not only does Eddie have that trait to her, it's also an opportunity to do 2 other things as well. So the first one is to break the oldest person to finish RAAM. It's not oldest woman, it's oldest person. I think the current record being held by Nancy Guth, and she did it at 72. So Eddie should smash it. And
9 years older.
And then it's really weird, Brian. We can see Eddie, but we can't see you. We can see your ear. So it's really weird.
Okay. That's the best part.
Go on, get in closer.
And then the other one is on the more serious note. It's an opportunity to raise awareness for being active as we age. Our strapline is healthy aging, having fun. And as we see more and more people around us that have mobility issues and things like that, it really does hammer home at how important it is to stay active as we get older. It's social, it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual. So to stand on a platform and raise awareness and hopefully inspire people to stay active, I think it's a winning combination. So you've got infectious Eddie, you've got the opportunity to break a record and raise awareness. So it's slam dunk, really, when you put that combination together. Oh yes, and riding with my husband, that minor part.
Actually, she means riding without her husband, because I'll be riding with Eddie.
Benefit. So Claire, at least you'll have the married pair split. It's much easier. So that's why I joined Lee.
Brian, can you turn your camera just a little bit so we can see you a little better? We just see half a face there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
People say it's better when I'm like that.
It's the lights as well. We're trying to keep
One sec. Here we go.
Oh.
Oh. It just doesn't.
Can you move it?
It just doesn't want me.
To the end.
Here we go.
There you go. Can you move out? No, Brian, lean towards Eddie.
I'm going the wrong way.
Oh, we've done it.
There we go. There we go. Eddie, tell us what is Silverfit all about?
So Silverfit is a charity I set up in 2013 after the London Olympic Games. And it was a sort of legacy of our London Olympic Games to promote healthier aging and, hopefully cost our health service and social care less money with a more active, older population. Because we have got, like you have, an increasing aging population, haven't we?
Stacey, Eddie's strapline was always, to me, morbid mobility. In other words, you should be able to do stuff until you die, and that's so important, because it's the sitting in the chair that makes everybody ill, and not doing
being
stuff
isolated, being on their own at home, So Silverfit gets about 800 people now more active, doing a weekly activity session that's fun. And that's the important thing. RAAM's going to be fun, isn't it?
Definitely.
I got this wonderful watch here that if I sit too long, it tells me to get up and move. And it becomes quite annoying, Eddie.
It's not a Snoopy one, is it? We have somebody here with a Snoopy watch that tells him to move.
Yeah, well, it does. And, in fact, when I first wake up in the morning and pick up the watch, it says, okay, it's time to set your goals for today and meet them. But yeah, I understand that completely. Kind of interesting. I had turned the TV news on this morning in my workroom over there. And so I had my back to the television and I began to work on the show, putting some things together. And I don't know what it is about Sunday morning television here, but they all come on with these shows about how to prepare for retirement. They're financial investors. Yeah. And the only thing I got out of it was there used to be a TV show here that would announce everybody that turned 100 years old.
Oh.
And they stopped doing it because there were too many people to announce that was turning 100 years old. It got to be too big of a chore. You're not turning 100 years old yet, are you, Claire?
I got a few years of catching up to do yet.
What's your strategy, Claire, for these 4 people? We have 2 pairs working together, correct?
Yes, we do. So each pair is going to we're going to be taking them out in blocks of. Right, now let me check I've got this right. I'm going to have hopefully Stacey and Brian and Eddie nodding away in the background. We're going out for 6 hours as a pair, and so we'll be doing an hour on, an hour off for the 6 hours that each pair is out, and then bringing them back in for hopefully some downtime, sleep, and whilst the other pair. So yeah, so it's an hour on, hour off for 6 hours, 6 hour blocks.
And what's your vehicle strategy going to be? How many? What kind?
So we have got we've got one. We're going with I think we're going with one RV, and we're just going to operate a single car is our plan. So obviously my only involvement in RAAM was last year when we were running a solo rider, so it's a bit of a different experience for me. I understand Brian did a lot of moving a second car when he was crewing for a team previously, so we thought we would keep it with the single car and the RV.
The problem with only having a single car is that you do lose some time overnight with changeovers because you've got to be stopped, but it's not a problem during the day. But we think that's probably traded off with the amount of sleeping space in the RV, because to have another car, we need another 2 people. So that really makes it a very, very busy RV. Yeah, it does lose us probably 30 minutes a night, but Eddie's so fast, I haven't got a problem.
I was going to say, we're just going to make them cycle harder at night.
So 6-hour rotation. All of you will be seeing pretty much the same time of day each day, won't you?
Yeah, well, you do two times a day each day, but yes, it will be the same time.
Won't it? Yeah.
Which is quite good from a circadian rhythm point of view.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate having to adapt that in the desert if it gets really hot?
Well, what we'll do, we won't do an hour on, hour off in the desert. We'll do probably half an hour on, half an hour off in the desert. Yeah. So you'll do 6 shifts instead of like 3 shifts each in the desert. So you can go faster, you can get more cooler, you can spray water on yourself. We'll use cold vests as well. So we think we'll only be in the desert a day basically. And therefore, as long as last time when we did it, at one stage it was up at 42 degrees. So 30 minutes is plenty of time in the desert for that. But as long as you can get off, rehydrate, ready to go again 30 minutes later, you're okay.
Well, the next question is going to be for Claire. Are you with us, Claire?
I am, sorry.
Always.
What kind of nutrition do these people have? They each one have their own special diet they want, or how are you going to be handling all that?
I must admit that is probably a conversation I need to have with each rider as we just kind of I suppose finalize that. And I mean, as I say, from my experience from RAAM last year, you can sometimes go in with the new nutrition plan, but actually, as Brian became a big fan of cheese sandwiches as we were riding last year. So although we'd kind of planned mostly kind of liquid nutrition, but absolutely appreciate that as the race goes on, whilst wanting to make sure the riders are fueled. Having some flexibility there, and keeping our riders happy, I think will be important. But yeah, certainly, I hope they will all be working on building their carbohydrate tolerance in the next couple of months as we lead into race day.
How about keeping your crew happy?
I will do my best. Well, we will. Let's hope. I have a feeling that with the team and the crew that we've got, we will be having fun the whole time. Right?
Oh, lovely, Claire.
I think, Lee, it's a bit like a Mike Tyson thing where, he says everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face, and that's where we go. We have a plan, but it may change.
Yeah, I hate to bring this up. Did any of you ever read War and Peace? Tolstoy's War and Peace. He has a great scene about planning for battles and how the plans they make never amount to anything. But if you don't have a plan, you don't know when to change your plan.
Yeah.
We will have a plan.
I already have a plan.
There we go.
But Lee, it's also it's quite interesting on nutrition how nutrition changes as people get older as well. So whilst I'm the baby in the team, it's been a recent learning curve. Let's say that as we get older, the need for carbohydrates the mix between carbohydrates and protein completely changes for women. I don't know what it is for men. But when we did it in 2008, the strategy was to be on carbohydrates during the shift and then have protein recovery when going into the RV. Whereas now, if I can mention that dodgy word, menopause, it does change the body system. And so for women, my strategy will now be 2 carbohydrates and then 1 protein. And there's all sorts of chemical and research about what happens to the body. But for those ladies out there that find that nutrition's a little bit wobbly compared to what they used to do in UltraCycling, it's quite interesting to read up and see what the combination they could be on for protein, and it's a definite thing to increase protein. So that's one massive change that we're going to be making, at least from my perspective, compared to 2008. So I do encourage ladies to read up on it and be prepared for it, because the body changes and nutrition changes with it. So it's a really interesting one. So Claire's
that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. And I am planning on having Jill Mooney back on the show, Joe's wife, Joe Barr's wife, to talk about nutrition. That's probably the most hidden secret about Joe is Jill's nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be sure to bring that issue up of menopause. Never thought about that before.
It's a great topic.
And interestingly enough, Lee, as men get older into their 60s, so including Joe Barr at the moment, he's just moved into the 60 age group. They have the same sort of stuff as females with menopause. So it's an interesting thing. Men are normally about 12 years behind women in the way their nutrition has to change.
I'm kind of thinking about what you're telling me here, and I've noticed that myself in just what I like to eat has changed a great deal.
It does.
And that's along those very lines.
And I think also the need for fresh veg and fruits, I don't know whether it's just me particular, but that increases as well. And maybe, linking back to Silverfit about why it's so important to stay active, sometimes having the nutritional part after, it might be a good question for Eddie actually. Once people have had the event, having that tea and something afterwards, I'm predicting adds to the social aspect as well. Because remember what we're saying is as we get older, it's harder to stay active, but it's really, really important to stay active because also our metabolisms decrease over time. So it's really important to keep the body moving, keep the metabolism up, the nutrition up. And I think that's one of the reasons that I think Silverfit's so good. It's a very community-based, can I use that word, Eddie? Community-based charity.
And it's very social, isn't it, as well? That's the big thing.
Yeah. This is where, and as we look at some of the sustainability stuff and how nutrition stuff is changing, this is where you can also maybe bring in where people start experimenting with more homemade recipes. We had one the other day, not for Silverfit, for something else, but cake with no sugar, just sweetened from bananas, no sugar. I didn't taste it, but I wish I had. So it's that I think I'm saying it's there we got wonderful message from Roger. Hi, Rog, and Simon. So I think it's really nice to extend that social aspect in keeping fit. So it's not just boring fitness; it's really about having fun. And you've just reminded me. I was talking about what we were doing to somebody, and they went, "Oh, I can't do that. Can't do that at all." So I said, "Well, what do you do?" He says, "I walk, but I walk about 5K a day, but I can't do what you're doing." And it's really interesting how people underestimate the power of walking at speed, walking with friends, but walking is being active. When we talk about active, Eddie, we're saying basically just not sitting in a chair or a bed, isn't it? It's getting up and being active. It doesn't have to be riding a bike for silly distances.
Doesn't it? Oh, sorry.
It can be,
but for you guys, it really does have to be riding a bike for silly distances. Okay.
Yes. Well, that's become my activity. I don't ride anymore, and I don't ski anymore. But walking I can do.
Well, you have a beautiful dog as well, don't you?
Well, I was going to say, Brian, that even when the weather is very, very bad, as it does get here in Ohio sometimes, I can just walk back and forth in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring, but I've got a ranch type house. It's a little distance from my office to the kitchen. And as long as I don't go to the refrigerator when I make that trip, which is kind of tempting. Yeah. I find that I can get some walking done just back and forth here in the house on a bad day. And fortunately, I've got a dog that along about, he's not here right now, but along about 6 o'clock in the evening, he insists that I get up and play with him, and he wants active play. So at 88, I'm able to do that, and happy that I can.
There you go, Lisa. And walking the dog, playing with the dog is being active. And some of what I love is if you go through the Silverfit website, you can see that there's some real fun activities as well. So you go from the, let's say, more mainstream being active. So it's walking, running, to some of the ones you might not think of. Eddie, do some of them have walking football?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. But also the silver cheerleading, the Bollywood fitness, they're all fun.
Hey, has pickleball pickleball made it to.
Yes, no, we are going to do it. In conjunction with one of the universities, very keen for us to do pickleball.
What is that?
Well,
I'll keep you in touch.
it's become quite popular here. In fact, now we have professionals playing
Yes,
pickleball.
I know. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I don't. It's, leave it to the professionals to take it away from us amateurs. So, hey, we're trying to raise some money from Silverfit. Is that correct?
Yes, that would be great. Yeah.
Well, if you go to the website, ucm.bike, you'll find a link there to Silverfit and to the JSNT website. And if you click on that, it'll take you where you can drop some change on them. They'd be glad to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, great.
So would, yeah.
And I think we'll go. It's sorry, I've got my tongue in a twist. We're going to have 2 fundraisers as well, so you can choose. So the big one is for the Silverfit charity, and then if people want to fund the team as well, there will be that one up as well. That one's not up there yet, but it will be. But the big charity one is Silverfit, and I just tested the link on the Silverfit page, and it's just giving is the link is there.
Yeah.
For the charity direct.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, I know you guys are going to have a ball. Edie, we look forward to putting you across that finish line.
Oh, yeah.
For the record, having fun.
And set a record for all time.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us. Thank you for watching.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane, and thank you, Roger, for dropping in and chatting with us. And watch and mind how you go, folks.
We'll see you soon.
Speak very soon.
Keep in touch and
Bye-bye.
follow the race.
Don't go away. We'll chat in a bit.
Okay.
This is Gregory Zuber, thanking you for watching and sharing.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.